All right, so if you were absent last week when we took the notes over the perimeter, you need to go ahead and pause the video and get everything that's on this page in your notes. Just know that this paper is going to be folded into 3 equal parts so that when we're finished, we'll have a part for each section. So last week on Wednesday, I believe it was, we put in notes about perimeter. So you can pause the video and you can go ahead and get all of this information in your video or on your paper. Make sure you get all of it written down. So just pause it, get it all written down. And if you were not here when we took notes about area, you're going to want to get all of this information on your yellow paper too. So you can pause the video, you can copy all of this down. It's not as good as being here, but at least you'll have all of the information. So once you're done copying all the information down, I just want to go ahead and say that perimeter is around the rim. And so the formula that we're going to use to help us find the perimeter of rectangular figures would be, we would take 2 of the lengths, and so we would multiply the length distance by the number 2, because we have one on top and one on bottom. And we're going to put that with 2 of the widths, because if we have a width on this side of 3, then we know that we have a width on the other side 3. So we can multiply that width length times 2. So this formula is going to start popping up, and we need to be able to recognize it, and we need to be able to use it. When we look at a square, we know that all the sides are the same on a square. So we can multiply by the number 4 the length of the side. So if you see 4s, that's because there are four equal sides. And once we know the length of that side, we can then multiply it to find the perimeter of a square. And then finally, irregular shapes are all those shapes that like maybe none of the sides match up. So in that case, we're just going to add all the sides. Okay? Now for area, we multiply, because when we're thinking about area, we're wanting to think about the space that is inside that enclosed area. And we measure that in square units, because basically what we're doing is we're making an array. And so we want to be able to think about arrays, and when we think about arrays, we use multiplication to help us find that answer. So we're going to take the length, we're going to multiply it by the width, and that will give us the area. One thing that we did talk about last week was the fact that sometimes in place of using the letter L, that italicized L, they'll replace it with the letter B, and B just really means base. So sometimes they're going to change out the letter L for B, and that really doesn't do anything for us except it changes the formula, because the base is the bottom. And so if we know that the base is 6 and we know that the height is 2, we can multiply that to get that surface area of the side of a figure, or the top of a figure, something, or the bottom of a figure. And then again, for a square, we know that all the sides are the same. So once we know that side length, we can just say side times side equals area. So bottom line is, if you weren't here last week, you're going to want to make sure that you have all of these notes in your jam, or not in your jam, on this yellow paper, because on Wednesday, we're going to talk about volume. And on Thursday, we're going to be adding to this. So you can complete these notes at home at your leisure or during XLT.